Hello, Al Pals. This is Big Al. Welcome to Big Al Presents my thoughts on Prey, the latest in the Predator franchise, currently on Hulu. It just dropped a couple of days ago. I've had a chance to watch it and just wanted to share a few thoughts on it. But of course, before I continue, caution, spoilers. There are going to be a few spoilers that I drop in this little ramble of mine. But if you don't want to know anything, stop here, fire up your Hulu, and give Prey a watch, and come back and see if you agree with some of my thoughts on it. So, with that being said, my thoughts on Prey. The year is 1719, and Naru, who is a young Comanche woman who is a healer, has aspirations to be a hunter. She wants to undertake the hunting trial of her people. She wants to emulate her brother, who is a great hunter, but of course feels a bit like a second thought because she is a woman, she's a healer, and although not unheard of for a woman to do that, her brother is very protective of her and doesn't want her to get hurt. But she sees the sign of the Thunderbird in the clouds, which we can extrapolate it was the Predator's ship coming in to drop him off for his little excursion hunting weekend of his own. So she decides the time is now. So she decides to start her trial. Of course, her brother doesn't want her to do it, and neither do a lot of the young men of the tribe. Will she find a way to prove herself? And does she have what it takes to battle the predator? And also, who is the prey? That is one little question that I think is very interesting to ponder when you watch this. Is the predator preying on her, or is the predator her prey? Because she is a hunter and she is determined to kill this thing to prove herself. So that's the thrust of the film. There's also some French trappers who show up, and a gun that happened to appear in Predator 2 kind of makes an appearance, though its final destination, how it got to Danny Glover, is still up for interpretation. And also, you might want to watch the credits because there are these cartoons that recap the movie, but there is a little extra cartoon at the end that kind of indicates something else that is going on. So that's basically what the movie is about. Amber Midthunder plays Naru, and I think she is fantastic in the role. I first remember her being in the FX series Legion, which was based on the Marvel comic book. And she didn't do a lot in that series, but here she really does have a chance to shine in this role. And I hope it leads to bigger and better things for her, although being in a Predator film is a pretty big deal. And I think if the public responds to this film, as I believe they may, I think there's going to be more Predator ahead and maybe more Naru ahead. So, of course, me saying that does kind of hint that she does survive the film. I don't think that's too much of a stretch for people watching it, that she will survive, but it's how she survives and what her survival will bring her or and cost her. So Well, I just want to leave it at that. But yes, the actress I think was just really great in the role, and looking forward to seeing more of her in the future. Of course, the big star of any Predator movie is the Predator himself. It's played by, I believe it is some kind of sports figure somewhere named Dame Diliagro or something like that. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it. But this Predator is kind of a more primitive version of the Predator. Not that he doesn't have high tech, but I view him as the kind of people that would go into uh, the woods and forests today hunting and only carry a bow and arrow or a uh, cap loading uh, old style pistol. Really wanting to get in touch with the primitive hunter that's kind of in all of us. So he seems to be that kind. He also doesn't rely solely on his tech. He likes getting his hands dirty, and he will tackle a lion or a bear. In fact, there is one great scene where he is fighting a bear, and the bear does not come off too well for it. It is also where Naru gets her first real glance at the predator because of the blood spilling all down over the predator on top of his cloaking mechanism. But like most Predator films, this has a lot of action. I believe the story is quite enjoyable. It's pretty solid. There are other cast members that do show up. Especially good was her brother, played by Dakota Beavers, as Tob, a skilled hunter with whom she does kind of battle the predator with a little bit. I'm not saying he comes out of it too well. Let's just say that. But I think his performance as the understanding brother did did a lot for the story. He didn't belittle her. He knew she was a skilled warrior and kind of supported that, but he was the protective brother. So you definitely saw that. There are a group of French trappers here, as I think I mentioned, where we get that gun, that iconic gun from Predator 2. It's definitely there and paid attention to detail, and we get to see the man who owned that gun, and for a little bit anyway. But overall, the film I think is very enjoyable, action packed, uh, a good character story, much better character building than I thought it might be. I thought they might just throw this young Indian girl in the field and have a predator there and try to have her survive. I really wasn't expecting as much of a character driven story as we did get. Beautiful cinematography. The music is really good. Just a solid sci-fi film. Very enjoyable. I think if you're a fan of the Predator, you'll like it a lot. It's not perfect, however. It does um, kind of take its time a little bit. I think they might have been better served with speeding up uh, the first part of the movie a little bit, getting through the Predator a little faster. Though some might applaud the slow burn building of the mystery. There's not a lot of mystery for those who know the franchise. We know what it is, so we don't really need that built up too much for us. So I understand why they did it, but as a fan of the franchise, I kind of knew where it was heading, and I kind of wanted it to get there a little faster. Also, some of the dialogue seems a bit anachronistic. I don't have any off the top of my head examples, but when you listen to them, it's kind of like listening to people who are just down this, down the aisle in Target who are talking to each other. It just has a modern intonation, uh, tonality. The vocabulary seemed a bit more uh, modern than it should have been, perhaps. I don't know. There was just something about it that kind of brought me out of the film a little bit. But to me, very minor issues. If anything, I took maybe a half a point off tops, maybe a little more. I will say it was a much better film than I thought it was going to be. 3.5 stars, solid film. It could have been 4 stars if those few issues didn't pull me out a little bit. Uh, but just solid sci-fi entertainment with what could be a career-making uh, performance and vehicle for Amber Mid Thunder. Like I said, even Dakota Beavers, I think, gave a solid performance. Just great summer sci-fi action. I'm very pleased that it was on Hulu. I don't know how much this is eventually going to cost the company putting it on a streaming service as opposed to a wide release. Maybe they didn't have the faith in it. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. And I do hope we get more. That ending scene that I did mention, in the credits a little bit. It's not a scene. It's part of the cartoon drawing recap of the film. There's a little extra there that does indicate more story to tell. And I do hope they get a chance to tell it. Like I said, 3.5 stars, really liked it. Do suggest it. If you're a fan of the franchise, I think you're really going to like it. If you're the kind of person that doesn't like strong women and a woman trying to prove herself, well, that's on you. I'll let you give it a call. But it is very much, she is a strong female character, but a good female character. She's not a Mary Sue. She makes mistakes. She has to learn, uh, and she does. She suffers loss and injury and has to overcome it. So I really enjoyed the film, the character, the overall package. Uh, Definitely something to watch. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, Big Al Presents, I hope you do so. More reviews, rewatches, and rambles in the weeks and months to come. If you did like this video, which I hope you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it around to those who might get something from it. Or just say, hey, listen to this idiot, see what he thinks about the film. That's up to you. Whatever you want to, wherever you want to share it, I just hope you do. But whatever you do decide to watch, be it Prey or something else, I just hope you enjoy it. Find entertainment where you can find it. Watch what you want to watch, and don't let anybody tell you that it's not worth it, because, quite frankly, you're the only person that needs to answer to you. Take care and have a great time.